So you know that I was in the middle of a song in Romania, and I did have a heart attack. And it came out of nowhere, and you just never know when this stuff is going to hit you, right? So,
what do you say?
don't cause another one.
Yeah. Very good.
I'm doing good. There's an interesting trip, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. I probably got $5 million worth of free advertising. That thing went viral all over the world, and there was an outpouring of love like I've never seen. And it was unbelievable. Yeah. It was very emotional, and yeah, it was interesting because I had, luckily, the top guy in Romania. There wasn't that many, and the hospital was like, "Woo, oh boy." But the doctor was cool, and everything went very well. And I was there for about 5 days, and I said, "Oh shoot, I have no insurance, not in Europe, right?" So I said, well, this could be, not as expensive as America without insurance. So the bill comes for 5 days in surgery. I got 4 stents, and it was $1,400. I said to my wife, hurry up, babe, let's get the hell out of here, quick. That's what happened then, so, but I'm cool, it's everything's fine. Yeah, I have a lot more to do, you know what I mean? That's what I kept saying to the guy in the ambulance, because he said, "Sir, you're having a heart attack." I said, "Please, I don't want to die. Keep me alive. Whatever you got to do." Man, when you're laying on that table and you don't know what they're going to do to you, it's scary as hell. But I didn't care. It's just whatever you have got to do, just go do it. So I don't want to get into details about this because I know some of you probably have been through this, but it's not painful. Believe it or not, it's not painful. Only having a heart attack was painful, but the surgery itself wasn't. Anyway, I'm back. I'm just happy to be here. Thank God. I didn't plan on talking about that, by the way. So about 12 years ago, I had a tour of Europe in the summer, which is pretty typical to go over there in the summertime. But this time, I had some days off in between the shows, and the musicians in the band at the time were European musicians, and I would go home. And I was in this hotel room thinking, what can I do in my time? So I've always been a Beatle fan to the max. So I always thought of doing something, you know, as a tribute to the Beatles, especially Lennon and McCartney in particular. So I called a friend of mine in London. I said, hey, tell me about Abbey Road. Is that still happening? Is that still open? Or is that a tourist site? What is that? He goes, I'll find out. I'm not really sure. So he calls me back. He says, they're operating. Everything is the same as when the Beatles were there. And there's one day open next week. I said, well, book it. I'm flying over. So one day turned into 3 days, and it was really like the feeling of, you know, like adults don't get this kind of thrill that like a kid might get going to Disney World, but I had it. I had that thrill of being in the same place, the same floor, the same walls, same equipment. And I recorded 3 pieces, and I was completely blown away by the sound of the studio. So I thought, okay, I better finish it back in New York, because Abbey Road was like a fortune. You know, staying in London was kind of high, and I wanted to get back and finish it either in my studio or in New York. I couldn't match the sound. The audio quality, the sonic quality of Abbey Road was something extremely outrageously good. So I knew I had to go back, but before I went back, I wanted to take the time to arrange the rest of the songs, like Penny Lane and Michelle, and I Had the Walrus and all these other pieces that wound up on the record. So I thought of renting a house, and just to seclude myself in this house way out on the end of Long Island in the Hamptons. I've never been there before. I look in the paper and I found this ad for a house for rent. And I call the guy up. He has no idea who I am. And he says, well, look, I don't normally rent my house, but you sound like a nice guy, and I'll rent it to you for 5 days. I said, fantastic. He goes, but you got to be real cool. I said, well, why? I mean, he said, no, you got, because your next door neighbor's kind of a big shot in the music business. And I'm thinking, John Bon Jovi, who was Billy Joel. So he goes, I'll call you back to confirm. So he calls me. I'm sitting in this restaurant by myself. I'm just eating some soup, and my phone rings, and he goes, okay, you got the house for 5 days. I said, okay, but I said to him, you got to tell me who was next door. He said, Paul McCartney. I said, you got to be effing me. So I put in the GPS, I go out there, there he is. He's in his driveway with his wife and some friends, and we got to meet and talk and everything. I didn't have the record done, but I told him I'm doing a tribute and all that stuff and everything, and he probably thought I was a stalker. The next year, I go out there and I rent the house again. He's always there the end of August, and I have a finished CD. It was the first one of 2 that I did, and I was with my fiance at the time, who's now my wife. She became my wife because she ran over to that house with that CD. I saw her run over there to give that CD, because I was too shy to take it over to Paul. So she ran, give me that CD, I'll take it over. She ran over, she gave it to Paul, and I said, I'm gonna marry that girl. And I did. That's my story. Thank you.